welcome back to the channel. I apologize that I'm putting this video out a little bit later than normal. I had appendicitis and I had emergency surgery to take my appendix out, so I've been out of commission for about a month or so, or somewhere around in there. So that's the reason this video is a little bit later than normal. So we've started a project a while ago that I haven't filmed any of it, and we are making a new pasture. It's right across the creek from the house, a little creek that runs by the house there. You can see the house in the background. And we've done a whole lot of projects around here. I do a lot that I don't film, and so I really need to go around and give everybody a progress update, because we have done a lot of work around here that hasn't got captured on camera and put on any social media. So I need to go around and give a progress update of all the stuff that's been happening around here. But you'll find out if you stick with the channel that I'm not the type of person to do one project from start to finish and then move on to another project. I have probably 10 or 15 projects going on at the same time. That way, you know, I can work on one. If something happens with a different project, I can just jump over and keep working. Like if it's raining outside, I can work on inside the house, or if I'm waiting on something to come in for the projects on the inside of the house, like the kitchen, we're waiting on cabinets to come in for the kitchen, so can't really do anything on the inside, so I'm jumping out here outside. Got all these projects going on, that way I can flop back and forth and still have plenty to do all the time. So the other week we come out here right across the creek. There's this little half acre, maybe 3/4 of an acre, that was growed up with small saplings. It used to be a pasture, probably 15 years ago, I would say, because there isn't really any big trees, or there wasn't any really big trees in this little lot. But there's a fence down here, an old fence that I'll be replacing. So there was a fence that went down through here and it kind of cuts up and goes up through the woods. But there's also a really big gully right over here that comes out from the pond. And there's that little building right up there, that little shed building. We really didn't know what it was for when we first bought the property. We're like, why is this little building stuck up here in the middle of the woods in the middle of nowhere? Then we got to looking around and figured out that this used to be a little pasture here on the other side of the creek. So we've decided to come in here and clear this and make this back into a working pasture so that we can get some larger livestock here on the new homestead, hopefully by this fall. So we've come in here and we've just cleared everything. All the little small brush, there was a lot of little saplings, you know, big as my arm or my leg, but no real big timber in here at all. So this is not a really big spot. Like I said, it's probably half an acre, 3/4 of an acre. There's this really big gully. You really can't tell how deep it is on camera, but it's probably 15 feet deep or more. I've only ever brought you guys up here once, and that was when I did the intro video of the whole entire property here, the new homestead. And you might can hear it in the background, but the water that you hear is what I call our waterfall coming out of the pond. So we got this really big gully here that I want to fence out of the pasture. I definitely don't want any animals getting in this part, and we probably won't even give them access to the creek. I want to do some type of gravity system from the pond to keep a water trough filled up or something like that. But we've got a few more trees to take down, and I'm waiting on some good rain before I burn that ginormous brush pile out there. And I'm not going to take down any of these bigger trees, any of these big oak trees, or I'm not sure what that is. I think that's a tulip poplar. These bigger trees I want to leave. But I would like to clean around this little building enough to where I could drive a tractor around it and keep this bush hogged and cleaned up and stuff. Sport, are you all right? Did you eat something? One of the big reasons we decided to make this into a pasture is because there's already a standing structure here for the livestock or whatever we put up here to get out from the weather. And it's actually in really good shape. It's not rotten at all. it looks really good. It's older, but for a little shelter for livestock or something, this will work. This will work great, wonderful. And I could even section this off for, you know, hogs. If we have hogs, we could use this as a birthing pen, or, you know, whatever. Calve a calf in here. This is just a good little structure. So we've got a good bit more to clean up. I want to clean up all this right in through here, all the small stuff. I'm not gonna get rid of any of the big stuff. And we have very well established blueberries that we have to transplant. All this little brushy stuff right here is blueberry bushes. And then there's a whole nother patch right down here. And they already have blueberries on them. Every year they are loaded with blueberries. So these are definitely something that we want to keep and save. We just want to move them to a different part of the property. We just don't know exactly where we're going to move them to. So we may wind up trimming them up and fencing this out or something. I'm not exactly sure yet. But that's a little update here on what's been going on kind of behind the scenes for the past couple weeks. And I honestly had every intent on filming this, but I come out here one afternoon and started working on the trackhoe, clearing some of this little small stuff in here. And I cleared probably 3/4 of this in just a couple of hours one afternoon. It took no time to clear it. And by that point, I had done most of the work without filming any of it. But we are going to film the rest of it, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Two deer running up through there. I don't know if y'all can see them or not. They're right up there. It's funny how equipment stuff doesn't really bother the deer. There goes another one. But people do. They were down there close to the house, and I've been working up here for probably an hour maybe, and they just now decided to move. got this fence row cleaned out pretty good where I want my fence to go. Just got to get a little bit more of this brush picked up, put down there on the pile. I got to clean up just a little bit more around the little building beside me here. And then I think we'll be ready to burn the brush pile after that. So I'm leaving as many trees as I can in this little pasture just so that whatever we have in here will be able to get out of the sun in the summertime and get some shade and come and hang out up here when it's real hot. I think it's going to be enough shade for them, so it's going to turn out to be a nice little pasture. Got a really nasty storm rolling in, so I'm gonna have to quit for a little bit. But this is good for tomorrow when I go to burn that brush pile. Everything will be wet, and then it's rain again tomorrow. But it's hard to tell, but there's a pretty big storm coming. Whew. Well, the storm passed and it didn't last long at all. It actually barely even rained here. The wind blew for just a couple minutes and that was it. But we lost power again. We have had the worst luck with grid power here at this new homestead. We've been here probably, well, right at a year, maybe a little bit more. And I think today was 10 or 12 times that we've lost power just since we've lived here in the past year, which is ridiculous. I am sick and tired of the grid power here and the infrastructure here in the part of the county that we live in. It's just evidently terrible. I mean, we'll lose power over nothing. So I really wish we could put in solar panels. It's something I would like to do one day, because like I said, we lose power all the time, and it would just be nice to have really good, reliable power that you didn't have to rely on somebody else. And the other thing is when we lose power and they turn our power back on, we get charged more for them to turn the power back on when the power's been out and we haven't been using it. Which I know they have to send people out and fix the power lines and all that kind of stuff. And you know, I'm not knocking on the workers, I'm knocking on the company itself. I think it's just stupid that they charge us extra to turn our power back on. Like, we haven't been using the power. I run a generator that's costing me money to put gas and stuff in it, and then you're going to charge me extra to turn the power back on? It just doesn't make sense to me. I already pay an extremely high power bill. Why are you charging me more? So anyways, that's my rant. I'm just fed up with the power company here at this new homestead. We've had nothing but problems and issues. So we would like to get a whole home standby generator, but them are several $1,000s. It's a lot cheaper than putting in solar panels though. But hopefully one day we could be off grid here at the new homestead. That's a goal of mine, is to be, you know, not relying on somebody else to supply our power. Anyways, so the rain has stopped. We're back out here, gonna do a little bit more work. I don't know how well you can tell it, but there's some really steep terraces right here, and I'm working on getting rid of those terraces. That way I can just plant this easier, get this moved up with a tractor, and you know, when it is established, I can bush hog it. These terraces are probably 4 foot, just a straight drop off. It's more like stairs than an actual rounded terrace. I'm not really sure why they put terraces here. It's not steep by any means. It's definitely, I know the Traco makes it look really steep, but it's not that bad. You could drive a tractor across this no problem, sideways. So with that being said, I'm gonna try to work on getting some more of this dirt pulled down, filling those terraces in. Brush pile right over here is in my way to be able to pull off the rest of these terraces down through here. There's only one terrace that continues on out through here, but the brush pile's in my way. I got to get it burnt before I can pull that off. I really hope this dries up. This is just some of that old nasty gray creek bottom clay that holds water. Just right down here in this very bottom spot of the little pasture that we're making. I hope it doesn't cause us a problem, because I want to include this in the pasture just to, you know, give us a little bit more area for grass and stuff to grow. So hopefully, with all the sunlight that this is going to get now, this will dry out, and then when some vegetation starts growing, you know, it'll help that water leach down into the soil. So this is the area right here. Like I said, it's not a huge area, but it used to be a pasture a long time ago, and we just come in here and cleaned up all the little brush, which has made a giant brush pile. So make sure you stick around in the next video. We're going to be burning this tomorrow, but it'll be in another video. So make sure you subscribe. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. And make sure you hit that little bell notification there so you can get notified when we burn this tomorrow in the next video. We still got a lot more to do here. We got to get rid of this brush pile, smooth all this area up, get it planted, and get some grass growing. And then we got to fence the whole thing in. So there'll be a lot more videos on just this project alone. And we've got many other projects in the works. We got a lot of stuff going on, you know, that I haven't filmed. We're getting the pool fixed, and it's supposed to be getting up and running in the next week or so. We've run power and water to it. We got livestock, we got chickens, our goats are over at the other pasture. So we've got a whole lot going on here, so make sure that you stick around with us, and I hope you enjoy it.